Hi everyone, let's get started with the conversations.
The hybrid, their essence is strong, but I cannot collect it.
Naru created them. Do you think he will bring you more essence if you follow him?
That one serves a master who will devour all essence.
You're talking about Amon. I think he's dead. And I'm going to make sure he stays that way.
If that one lives, all essence will be collected. Change will stop. I will fight.
He's dead set on the essence.
This thing in the lab, this Narud, it's shielding itself from me, but I can still sense its power.
Tell me of it.
It's like nothing I've faced before.
But you destroyed the Ancient One. You captured the power of all Zeras.
This is something born of the void. Cold and empty. But so powerful it hurts.
We are sensing strange entities in the lab.
You mean besides the hybrid and the evil shapeshifter?
Protoss, my queen, in great numbers.
Yes, I sense them now. Tal'Darim. They serve Amon willingly. They worship him.
They worship a dead god.
That makes them even more dangerous.
True enough, I suppose.
I wonder how Narud could hope to resurrect a being as powerful as Amon.
I think the hybrid are key. They gather psionic energy. But where would they get enough to resurrect a dead god?
You told me an ancient Zelnaga artifact was used to make you human again. But all the power you wielded as the Queen of Blades, where did it go after your transformation?
You mean there might have been hybrid nearby who gathered it? And used it to... Oh no.
If Narud used the Zelnaga artifact in that way, he may already have enough energy to resurrect Amon.
Well, that's terrible news. Thanks for the enlightening conversation, Stukov. But before we jump into said next mission where we try to find Narud, time to evolve.
Mutalisk strain ready for augmentation. Located. Feral broodlords. Must reacquire essence. Can be spun into Mutalisk strain.
Interesting. Here's an old favorite, the Broodlord. Morphs from Mutalisk, spawns broodlings, and launches them at ground targets from a distance. Now, this turns the Mutalisk into a bomber, you could say. It does not have the ability to attack air units at this point. But, if it's like the previous Broodlord, it has quite a bit of range. And like I said, it spawns broodlings, so the Broodlord itself is not at any risk. Making ground targets, they're just fighting a losing battle, because you're just going to continuously spawn broodlings with the Broodlord until they all fall down. All the enemies, I mean. That's good. And we got something new, Viper Strain. Morphs from Mutalisk. Manipulates battlefield conditions by using its abilities. Able to abduct targets and emit a disabling cloud. Huh. That sounds interesting. Let's test them out. Mutalisk are highly mobile. Try to exploit enemy weak spots instead of attacking head-on. That's some very good advice about the Mutalisk. Excuse me. With their, 120 HP, somewhere around there. They do get shot down pretty quick, though, by missile turrets. We saw that in the last episode. So it's a good idea to just use hit-and-run tactics, or, like I said, find enemy weak spots, take out a weak group of enemies, and then retreat. But in large numbers, they can't attack head-on, just expect casualties. That's an interesting looking
Defense platform.
let's say planet.
Centauri. Feral broodlords nearby. Missile turrets designed to kill Mutalisks.
Yep.
Stalemate without broodlords.
Hey,
Find
broodlords.
the broodlords. We'll assimilate their essence and destroy the Dominion.
And that was a perfect example of what I was just talking about. Collect broodlord essence.
Broodlords recover essence.
As you can see, the broodlords cannot hit the Mutalisks back. Like I said, they're a strictly ground attack unit. And you saw how badly the missile turrets destroyed the Mutalisk. Well, let's see what broodlords can do.
Assimilate their essence.
Nice. Morph broodlords.
Mutalisks can morph into broodlord. Await your command.
Now, as you can see, broodlords will be expensive. Between the 100, let's see, I believe it's 100 of the Mutalisk, plus 150, 150. So to make one broodlord, it'll be 250 minerals, 250 gas. Expensive. However, as the saying goes, you get what you pay for. Broodlords. Broodling strike. Damage 20.
Lord launches broodling. Assault ground targets from distance. Supplying Mutalisks will protect broodlords. Complementary skills.
So,
Now let's end this stalemate.
let's. The Mutalisks will provide air support. Their job will be to defend the broodlords. Because remember, the broodlords can't attack air units. So, keep the Mutalisks at a safe distance and let the broodlords do their work. Now again, taking a closer look at the broodlord. Range of 9.5, which is longer than the range of the longboat missile. The missile turret, which is a range of 7. Not much static defenses are going to hit. And here you can see the broodlings. Now the broodlings are going to die fairly quickly, as you saw. They only have 30 HP, plus they're timed. But the thing is, the broodlord's going to stay out of the fight. You can always launch more broodlings, because they continuously make broodlings. Let's move the Mutalisk up.
Forces are under attack.
See, and here comes the air support. So we'll just take care of that. Because we want to keep the broodlords safe. So just remember, if you're going to use broodlords, you'll want to keep them safe with Mutalisk. Or something else that can hit flying units. Mutalisk are probably your best bet when it's all said and done, just because they can fly with the broodlord. As you can see, the broodlings do a ton of damage. Sure, their needle claws are just 4 damage, but you can see the initial hit, plus the broodlings stay on the ground, which just continue to do damage.
We're being overrun! Drop in reinforcements!
Our forces are under attack.
Huh, the Javelin missile launcher has the range. That's pretty shocking. Did not expect that. Try to keep the Broodlord safe. Your biggest advantage is that the Broodlord will continuously spawn the units. See? Eventually, you can overrun anything. That's why I love the Broodlord. There is no limit to how many broodlings the Broodlord can launch. Maybe they can only have 2 out at a time. What I mean is, they have an infinite supply. I don't believe you hit air units. No, you do not. So, take advantage of this with the Broodlord. The range and just how the unit works is your biggest
platform secured.
Your biggest advantage. Broodlord is a unit that I really like.
Dominion storage world.
But let's see what this new unit has in store.
Transport wreckage discovered. Jorium crystal contained within. Jorium useful for experimentation. Enhances psionic potential. Must acquire. Completed research on primal essences. New strain created. Viper ready to assault Dominion.
Alright, you're new.
Viper strategic asset. Abducts targets. Pulls to its location. Usable on ally or foe.
Move
Interesting.
across the river and pull our aberrations to the other side.
Abduct. Pulls target unit to the Viper. Enemy is stunned for 1 second.
Siege tank detected. Use Vipers. Pull into range of aberrations.
What kind of range does this have? Pretty good range. It's cheap too. It only takes 25 energy when the Viper has 200. Interesting. Come here.
Get off me!
The stun for a second is also pretty cool. Nice little ambush there, Siege Tank.
Viper emits disabling cloud. Foes within cannot attack.
Disabling cloud creates a cloud that slows movement speed and prevents enemy units and structures from attacking and using energy-based abilities. Lasts for 10 seconds. Wow. Sure, it takes 75 energy. But that's for 10 seconds. Prevents enemy units. Jeez.
Rip that bunker apart.
And it does have, it can attack, so it can only attack air units.
Only their final defenses remain. Move in for the kill.
Okay, we'll pull these over. They do no consumption. Drains up to 75 life from a friendly Zerg unit.
To scale vertical surface.
Yes.
Vipers must abduct. Pull upwards.
Gives the Viper 2 energy for each point of life drained. So they can consume Zerglings, for example, to get energy back. Wow, that's very interesting. The power of that disabling cloud is very nice.
Jorium cargo secured. Must prepare Mutalisk morph. Returning to evolution pit. Mutalisk morph ready for integration. Await decision.
Now this is tough. The Viper strain gives you a lot of flexibility. Very interesting. It can still attack air units and did a decent amount of damage. I mean, it did 10, so one more than the Mutalisk normally does. You can drain life from allied units to restore energy, which the disabling cloud, that is a very, very mean ability. For 10 seconds, that enemy cannot attack. That enemy building cannot attack. So bunkers, especially. Bunker siege tanks. If we face Protoss, which it sounds like we might, photon cannons as well. That's cool. Now, on the other hand, we have the Broodlord strain, which, as it says, sieges ground targets from long range, and that's a big deal. The Broodlings stay and still attack units, plus just the initial hit from the Broodlord is 20 damage. They could rip apart a ground defense very quickly. Unfortunately, they don't attack air units, so they will have to have air units support them. The Viper will need ground units to support them. They're more of a pure support unit. Sure, they can take out air units, but they will have to have ground units hit other ground units or some Mutalisks to back them up. Either way, you can make your Mutalisk more specialized, where Mutalisks can hit both ground and air decently. You can become very specialized. I really like the Viper strain with the disabling cloud. I urge you, give it a try if you like the Viper strain. I'm going to go with the Broodlord.
Evolution complete.
I just like the idea of laying siege to ground units with Broodlings. And there's the Broodlord strain. Deal increased damage, travel farther. Bounce to additional turrets. We'll take the Vicious Glaive. Well, now I'm tempted to take Sundering Glaive. If I use Broodlords a lot, now that'll depend on resources. But if I use the Broodlords quite a bit, I want the +9 versus armored targets, even though it doesn't bounce anymore, to take out air units quickly. A lot of air units are armored. That's just a guess out of mine, but I'm pretty sure about that. Other than, like, Mutalisk. Mutalisk aren't armored, but specifically Terran units and Protoss units. Rapid regen is always interesting. I could bounce. doubles the damage against armored targets, but you no longer get the bounce. It will stick with the Vicious Glaive for now, but it really, if you went Broodlord, take a look at the Sundering Glaive. For when they're just escorting the Broodlord. That's something to keep in mind. Very good. Although it's going to be a shorter episode, I think I'm going to cut this one here. I don't want to get into a mission and then have it be real long. I'd rather just have the mission as one video itself. So, hope you enjoyed. As always, the evolution missions are the toughest thing to choose to me. How you're going to evolve the unit. So tell me what your thoughts are for the two units. You like the Broodlord or the Viper more? Which one is better for your style of play? I'm interested. The Broodlord fits me more. Because, like I said, I tend to forget about abilities. And I'm not too great at the micromanaging aspect. But I like the Broodlord. I like long-ranged units. And I can keep them out of danger. So that fits me a little more. But let me know what you think. So, hope you had fun. Next time we'll start the next mission. Until then, I'm Cinder89. Remember to shoot for the stars and take care, everyone.